Welcome to Apex Racing TV, and welcome to the VRS Sprint Championships here from Monza. My name is Tyler Max, and alongside me tonight in the commentary booth is Ryan Walker. Ryan, welcome back to another amazing week of action here in the VRS Sprint Championship. We're currently in qualifying. We're just about 5 minutes into qualifying. We see some very big names in this qualifying session, and in this session in general. Monza's always a track, too, that seems to provide some amazing racing. What do you think tonight's racing is going to provide?
Yep, good evening, Tyler. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, glad to be back in the booth. Yeah, commentating at such a fantastic track as Monza, and yeah, I'm quite looking forward tonight. To tonight, I think we could be in for some absolutely fantastic racing with the amount of cars we've got in the session, and I think we could be in for some surprises this evening.
Yeah, definitely some surprises. Monza always seems to throw some good things at us. So we'll go ahead now and we'll pull up the qualifying here for the broadcast. Currently, it is Chris Fuller on the pole, and we currently look right now with Jesper Dorelka as he is now going to complete his first qualifying lap of the night. That will put him P13. So we'll also focus back now with Lucas Navarrete as he completes his qualifying lap. I'm seeing quite a bit of McLarens here tonight, at least from the two that I have jumped on. And yeah, there you go. You can see it confirmed. I think that this is the first race of this year, actually, or this season, that I have seen McLarens in the race as predominantly as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the McLaren could suit this track because of the long straights at Monza, and I think from watching the car in the past past races, that the McLaren in a straight line seems to be the car to have. But just looking throughout the field, there seems to be a various mixture of cars. You've got Mercedes, you've got Audis, you've got I think also. Yeah, as we see on the screen right now, we've got a Ferrari, or a few anyway, at least. So yeah, good to see a mixture.
Yeah, definitely a mixture indeed. I'm just looking down here, and I'm seeing, usually we've seen quite a bit of Mercedes in the past, and that's actually, I believe, in this race, the least used car. So that's a little bit interesting there, that this is was the car to have. Pretty much the Mercedes or the Audi this season has been the car to have. And right now, we're not seeing many drivers using it. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. I thought some people would have been using it, but yeah, I think it appears to be, I should say, that the cars to have around Monza, looking at them, seems to be the Ferrari, the Audi, the Mercedes, and the McLaren. Yeah, there's not as many BMWs, or hardly any BMWs at all, I should say.
Definitely not many BMWs tonight. I haven't seen any of them, actually. So that's definitely a little bit interesting that we're seeing the car choice change race by race. But the grid is up on your screen now. I do believe that we have quite a short out lap here. It's been a while since I've raced at Monza. But I'll go ahead and run through the grid for you here. Chris Fuller on the pole with 145.156, just 0.08 of a second faster than Norbert Lietnetter. Lucas Navarrete starts in third alongside Maximilian Bandone. Paulo Kwalik, if I pronounce that correctly, starts in fifth alongside Brendan. Okay, I'm just going to start over with that name. Brenley Halley in sixth. Farron Sierra Koriskos in seventh. Christopher Zoe Chilling in 8th, Antonio Garcia in 9th, Sebastian Chudik in 10th, Zayed El Musafea in 11th, Harmani Diaz in 12th, Thibault Rose in 13th, Jesper Dorelka in 14th, Philippe Klinger in 15th. Angerouz in 16th. Pierre Verny in 17th. Fabian Skundenberg in 18th. Christopher Heeman in 19th. And then we have a driver with a bunch of weird characters, so I will try to pronounce as best I possibly can. Richard Spicemuller, Edward Rapiger, Haman Argan, Manuel Skuki, Niels Goldman, Ishmael Waku, A. Henderson, Victor Alda, Tingo Perez, David Tooth, and Sergey Mironov rounds out your grid of impossible name drivers, just like usual.
Yeah, the cars are just on the formation lap at the moment, and yeah, I think it'll be much harder to predict a winner than it was last week, Tyler. Last week there wasn't really that many cars in the top split at Quota, but tonight there seems to be, looking at the grid at the moment, there's 30 cars on the grid. So yeah, I think we could be in for quite a good race, and I think it's going to be tough to predict the winner. But yeah, as we just come round the final corner, and in a few moments' time we'll be underway with this race.
It will be underway here in just a few moments' time. I'm going to try to get a good camera angle for the start. We may end up just going to a chopper cam here for the start in Monza, but they are going to work their way now down the front straightaway now. It's two McLarens on the front row, and Fuller gets away nicely. He's going to pull to the right-hand side, but he is going to stay on the inside of the track. He's going to make sure that he's got the run, and now he does. As you can see, many drivers now going 2 and 3 wide all the way back now as they work their way down into turn 1. We'll focus back here on your leaders. You can see them 2 and 3 wide all the way through, and I believe they are all going to make it through.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Tyler. There was a bit of I heard a bit of contact further down the field, but at the moment, looking at in the race lead, it's Chris Fuller in the lead as they head down into the first chicane, the second chicane, I should say.
As they go 2 by 2, Jesper Durelko will make up 4 spots off the line, so he was your fastest starter here in Monza. You can see him going 2 and 3 wide there behind, but everyone pretty much getting through unscathed here in the first lap. No one making too many moves, other than a few drivers.
Sorry to interrupt, Tyler, but there was 2 cars spinning around in the background in the first Lesbo, on the inside wall. Yeah, if you get a chance, it might be worth looking at a replay to see what happened. But at the moment, there's still several battles going on through the field on lap 1. Some people trying to go 3 wide on lap 1, which is a bit crazy around Monza with how tight the track is.
Yeah, definitely an interesting one. Not really the easiest track to go 3 wide in. I'm looking for a replay now, but I'm not really seeing anyone crashing. Just a bunch of passes for position on here, so I'm not seeing any replay. If I can figure out how to get a replay for you, I will go ahead and do that. But for right now, there is no replay, sadly. But we will focus now back on your leader, who is now Maximilian Brandon. So what happened to your previous race leader?
Oh, someone dive bombing into turn 1 from miles back. Who was that? That was it was someone in a Ferrari. But yeah, I'm not sure what happened. According to my live timing, Chris Fuller is still the leader, but I'm not sure what happened to him.
Okay, so I am having just a little bit of issues here with the live timing. It is showing Chris Fuller on my live timing down in 17th spot, so I'm not too sure what's going on there with that. Hopefully everything will get updated in just a few moments' time here. We'll just give it just a little bit of time here to update. But I believe that Chris Fuller is still your leader well, I'm going to have to try and get this best I can. I'll let you run them through the top 5.
Yep, I'll take a run through the top 5 at the moment. Yeah, so Chris Fuller is still the leader as they're currently on lead lap 2, I should say. No, but lead places.
And And the typical Discord issues hit us again. So I don't understand why we always seem to have Discord issues in this series. I do apologize for that one again. But we do have quite a bit of Discord issues. I'm also having a little bit of issues getting all the liveries to load in. So I may go ahead and try to reload those. So if the liveries do look a little bit weird here, they will all look white here for just a second until they can load back in. But so we'll just have to bear with me just a little bit. And there we go. My live time re-updates, and Chris Fuller's back onto the lead. So don't really know what went on there, but nonetheless, it fixed itself. So Chris Fuller leads, Norbert in second. So you can see those two stretching away from the field now. 1.7 seconds back to Lucas Navarrete in that Volt racing car. So you can see the absolute gap that those two have. They definitely have the pace. They were just about 6/10 faster on the previous lap. Go ahead and get the last lap time up for you on your screen. So those two definitely had the pace to pull away, but this is obviously a 40-minute endurance race, so not an easy one to win at all.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, just if you could just take over for a bit, Tyler. I just need to. Yeah, unfortunately, Windows updates just decided to kick in while in the middle of a race, so I need to quickly reboot my PC. But I should be back in a couple of minutes.
All right, so Ryan will be back here in just a few minutes. I'm going to try to get this replay for you again, just trying to get the correct driver this time. Heading down in, so I believe I do have the right driver this time. Yes, I do. So to be Christopher Zoelink as he goes down. So he's going to try to go around the outside here, and he goes, yeah, just a little bit too fast on the entry. Overshot it just a little bit and caused that one. We'll also look back here at the Ishmael incident here. He is in the Audi. We'll ride on board with him, as I believe this is going to be from that same incident. As he goes through, and no, he just loses it on entry. So he's just lost it there on entry. As we will focus now back on your leader, Chris Fuller, who is currently on a class of his own. Just 0.3 of a second, though, ahead of Norbert. And him and Norbert, though, pretty much on a class of their own, just about a 2.5 second gap now. So the gap is kind of staying a little bit more modest on this lap, just half a second faster than the drivers behind them. We will look a little bit further back, as everyone does kind of spread out, but the nice nature of Monza is that it does kind of group everyone back up in a nice form. But we're looking right now at Christopher Heeman as he chases down Nias Greenholm, sorry, in that Mercedes. He is currently driving the Ferrari, so we're seeing a car that isn't usually used in the VRS Sprint Championship as much as usual. It's usually a car that we see a few drivers using it, but not too many. So definitely nice to see drivers getting in that. We're also going to ride on board here with Brendan Healy as he chases down Pavel Qualak in that Ferrari ahead of him. So Monza, a track that can throw up a lot of differences in car choice, obviously, as we see here, and also a very big difference in track position changes. We see quite a bit of movers in this race. Currently, your biggest mover is Nias Greenholm, as he has moved up 8 spots in this race, as well as A. Henderson, Victor Andalena, David Toth. They have all moved up 8 spots in this race. We have quite a few drivers who have moved up just a few spots, but not too many. But I will go ahead and let you ride on board with the lap with your race leader. There was a lap on board as the race leaders. We do have a battle now going down the straightaway. Brandon Healy tries to go by Paul Kwolak as he heads down into turn number 1. You'll see him. I believe he has cleared him down into turn number 1, but the Ferrari is going to have the inside for the next corner. No, he's just going to back out of it there. We're going to also jump back here to another close battle. This battle of 3. That's Hernini Diaz, Andrew Rue, and Jesper Dorelka. He really gets sideways. Jesper sideways coming out of turn number 1. But they are just still staying in line as we see a little incident there. Don't quite know what happened. We'll try to get a replay for you if I can click on the right one. So there they go down into turn number 1. David Toth to the inside. And, yeah, so he just overshoots it just a little bit, gets up on that curb, and they actually don't make any contact, so they all do keep it clean heading down into turn number 1. Here's pretty much the other closest battle on this race besides this battle between Splash and Chuk and Jesper Dorelka. So Dorelka's lost quite a bit of time on this lap so far. As we see Sebastian now, he has a good run going down into the quick left-hander here in Monza. Don't know the corner names, not all of them, as he will get the move going into there. So he will get that move done quite quickly. Sorry for not knowing the corner names. I know I really should know the corner name of that one. Really should know all the corner names at this track because I do race it quite a bit. But we'll focus back here on your leader, Chris Fuller, who has currently right now stretched his lead out to a 0.7 of a second gap over Norbert Leaner. And then Lucas Navarrete is down in 3rd and maintaining that 3rd position, but he is 3.6 seconds back on your leader. So don't really think he's going to have anything to challenge them with now. At least for the time being, he won't. But we'll look back here as Tobias Rose, he will get the run now down the inside. He's going to look down the inside of Dorelka. Dorelka will have the inside, though, going into the next corner, but he will have to pinch off the exit, and that is going to give Rose, I think it's just going to give him the advantage in that Bilstein Shock Mercedes. So he will move up now. So Dorelka now moves back down to 13th, so he is on a drop down right now. We'll look at your driver with the most positions gained so far in this race. 10 spots up is David Toth. He had an absolutely terrible qualifying, torrid qualifying for him. But he is able to work his way currently back to, he's currently working his way through in 19th. And I do have word that, that Ryan Walker is back. So Ryan, welcome back into the commentary booth. Hopefully you got everything sorted out there.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot to disable Windows Update for the broadcast. So yeah, my apologies to everyone. So, but yeah, I'm just jumping back into the session, and yeah, I'll be rejoining you in a few moments' time.
All right. So we're still looking at quite a bit of separation from everyone. One thing I am looking at right now is Norbert Leaner is starting to make a charge back towards your race leader, Chris Fuller. He has now gotten that gap down to 0.6 of a second and has gone purple with a 1:45.33. That is the fastest lap of the race currently so far. So nice job by him in that McLaren. So you just see how strong the McLarens are here. They are running 1, 2, 3. The first Ferrari is in 5th, then an Audi, then another Ferrari, Mercedes. So the first Mercedes is all the way down in 8th place. That just shows you how little the Mercedes field is this week. Usually we're used to seeing in this series a Mercedes dominant field, as Jesper Dorelka seems to have some issues as he is dropping down the order quite rapidly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like not sure what happened to Jesper. He might have made a mistake. I've got to slow down, but yeah, he's lost some time in some positions, but I think he's still got plenty of time left in the race to try and regain them.
You definitely got enough time to regain those positions, but Leader is going back now at Chris Fuller. So Chris Fuller is now under attack from Norbert, and he is going to have to do some defending here. So down from 0.7 of a second down now to 0.2. He is in the draft, though. This could be a nice opportunity for Lettner to try to save some fuel, but I don't think he's doing any of the sort as he's looking left and right on Chris Fuller.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just looking at the gap with yeah, the gap with Chris Fuller. I think I'm just catching up on the live timing, but I believe the gap with Chris Fuller in second place, Norbert Liebner is round about 6.7 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, they have an absolutely insane gap right now. Just a 5 second gap now over Lucas. Um, Navarat behind. So those two are pretty much in a league of their own. Um, unless they start crashing and banging doors, I don't really think they're going to have any um, challengers there. But we look back now at this three-car battle now for 15th. Henderson's going to look left. He will not. He will back out of it, but that will be Niels Greenholm as he looks for another position, but he's not going to be able to get that done. But that is going to be Henderson, though, with an amazing run out of the corner. And I believe that's just going to be it for him. As try to get a nice onboard there with you, but he is not going to be able to get that car up that position. Now you see Green and home as he's going to try the outside, though, and oh, they're going to make contact, and that's Greenholm around. So he is around there in that Mercedes. Let's ride on board with him here. I think he just kind of squeezed him down just a little bit too much. Yeah, there you can see. Just a little bit too much squeeze, just enough to send him around. And I also have that David Toth also got involved in that in an incident as well. He was a little bit further up the road, but as he now goes into the chicane as well, no, he'll just jump off the track.
Yeah, just had to go slightly offline to try and avoid that car in the middle of the chicane, but yeah, thankfully managed to get by without any issues, and is still going as we ride on board with Powell Kulik. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Riding on board with him in P5 as they head down into turn one. And yeah, I think he decides to back out of making a move, and yeah, quite sensibly as well. As yeah, I think we're about 60 minutes into this race, and yeah, there's still a long way to go. And yeah, even if you can't pass someone on track, you can still try and gain some positions or some track time through the pit stop. So yeah, I think strategy might come into play as well.
Yeah, so Henderson now on the back of Helaman in that Ferrari. So now he continues to move up this race. Henderson up 10 positions, but he has got David Toth now 4 seconds behind him, who has been an absolute rails this race and has moved up in a lot of positions now, up 12 spots from his starting position. So absolutely awesome drive from him. To move up that many spots this early on. And if these two start battling, if Henderson even thinks of making a move on Helaman and he's not able to make that stick, then they are going to have Toth all over the back of him.
Yeah, absolutely. As yeah, yeah, it seems to be. It seems I've missed some of the action while I was loading back into the session, but yeah, just looking throughout the field at the moment, it looks like most people, well, apart from this battle, but apart from that, the rest of the field seems to have settled down a little bit.
As sorry, live timing just played up on me again. It said that Norbert was able to get ahead of him, but he was not. So we'll focus back on that battle between Henderson and Helaman for the 15th position here today. But one driver I definitely want to keep an eye out on is David Toth in that Audi R8. He is on rails so far this race and has been moving up at a rate of knots. So I would be really, really interested to see if he could get that move done. If he can make it inside the top 10 in today's race. Definitely a driver to keep an eye out on as we get into the latter stages of this race. If he's able to kind of catch some drivers battling and get through and not lose too much time, he's definitely a driver that could take the win.
Yeah, absolutely. Just watching, yeah, David Toffee's been slowly getting through the field as we look back up at his battle for fourth place with Bradley Haley, Bradley Haley, Paweł Kowalik, and I think behind him as well is Ferran Serra Serkos. So yeah, plenty of close battles still going on at the moment, and yeah, just watching this shot as well, it looks like we've got about one, two, three, yeah, three Ferraris in this battle. So yeah, it's definitely, yeah, it's no surprise that the Ferrari seems to be a popular choice around here. Yeah, Italian manufacturer, Italian track. It just makes, yeah, I guess in a way it's a perfect combination.
Yeah, definitely a nice combination, and we see a lot of drivers using that combination here today. And we also see a lot of the McLarens. This is something that I definitely am really interested in why they choose it this race. I know that it does have quite a bit of straight line speed, but I have heard that it's quite a handful to drive around some of these circuits. So it's kind of a, as much as Monza is a straight line speed circuit, it also is kind of a handling circuit as well, because it's got a lot of fast and slow corners. So it's definitely a track that you've got to have a nice balance in. So would definitely be interested to see um, how that plays out for some of these drivers. But we see the battle now for the lead as they make their way down into the chicane, and it is going to stay the same. But you can see Fuller there getting a little bit upset on the curb. The car not liking that jump too much, but he is able to get through unscathed nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Chris Fuller is still your leader at the moment, and yeah, I have to say Chris is a he's a I've watched him a few times in iRacing over the past, or in races in the past, and he's definitely one of the quickest people in iRacing around when it comes to GT racing or iRacing in general. And yeah, at the moment he's doing a good job in the lead, and yeah, I guess I have to be kind of biased because he's my teammate, but yeah, he's doing a good job at the moment, managing to hold off Norbert, and yeah, I think we're 20 minutes into this race, and I was just thinking about strategy as well. If it's worth Norbert trying to maybe pit early and trying to do an undercut in the pit stops, but at the moment, I guess he's kind of just keeping an eye on Chris to see what he does, and whenever Chris decides to pit, I guess he'll pit as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do strategy wise.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see. These cars can usually go about 30 to 35 minutes on a tank of fuel, depending on the car and depending on how lead-footed you are in it, too. This is just such a great camera, just on the nose of the car. You can just see how wide and how narrow the track is in some of these sections. It's one of my favorite cameras to watch on, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting one to see what kind of strategy he'll be trying to go for, whether he's going to try to get that undercut and try to get out maybe in some clean air. But right now they are such similarly paced. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if they do the strategy that you're talking about, jump in at the same time and just try to continue to run with each other. Because, you know, a fast car, plus, especially if you're in a equally matched equipment, if you have a draft, it will definitely help you quite a bit. So he may lose a little bit too much time not being in the draft, and whether Fuller will have that draft too as well is probably not a case either. But if he is able to get back in some traffic and get a draft on him, then that could lose Norbert even more time.
Yeah, absolutely. Just watching these two guys as well. It looks like they've managed to pull away from the rest of the field behind them. So I guess as it stands, the battle for the win is between these two guys. And looking at the gap from Norbert Lietner down to third position, and it looks like the gap is round about 7 seconds. So yeah, these guys have managed to just pull away from the rest of the pack, and yeah, I guess they're not fighting too much, and it's working at the moment. Look at judging by the gap to the rest of the cars behind. So yeah, when it comes to the race one, I think it's between these two, and the final step on the podium is, well, I guess it's hard to predict the final step on the podium or who that'll go to.
Yeah, definitely always a little bit different to predict, but currently the top three, the only three who haven't moved a whole lot of positions. Everyone's just kind of stayed in one spot. Now, Powell Kolak in fifth has also stayed in his spot, but pretty much everyone else has moved either forward or backward um, in this race. And I think right now, with the gap that Lucas Navarrete has over Brendan Haley, I think that he's got third place locked in if he can just keep it in a straight line and keep the car out of the wall for these next few, just about 17 more minutes left in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just looking at the time remaining in the race and how long these these people have been going so far. I think I'm guessing that the pit stop window will probably be between probably within the next 5 minutes, or yeah, within the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I believe the maximum time that any of these GT3 cars can go is just about 35 minutes. I believe that they can make it on fuel if they do. Oh, and sorry about that one. As I do believe that they can make it all the way through on a tank of fuel if they do some insane fuel saving. But from the way these two drivers are looking, they're not doing any fuel saving at all in this race, and they're not going to be anytime soon. So I believe that these guys will definitely be making a pit stop in this race nonetheless. But yeah, definitely going to be an interesting one to see. It's always interesting the strategies that these guys seem to pull off. They always seem to come up with something interesting that we haven't seen before. There's not too many people that just stick with the conventional, okay, come in when there's 5 or 10 minutes to go. We always see some drivers come in at the 25-minute mark, or some drivers that have come in even earlier. So we look back at this battle now with Henderson and Hilleman, and Henderson will get that move done, but he is going to dive into the pit lane.
Yeah, I was about to say both of them dive into the pits at the same time. So, yeah, some people are maybe pitting earlier just to try and do something differently with the strategy, and try and maybe get clear air as well. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see what the top two at the front, I should say, will do. But yeah, David Toff is still managing or still sitting in P13 at the moment. So yeah, I think David's just in a bit of no man's land, you could say.
Yeah, definitely in a little bit of a weird area, just in about 5 seconds behind and 10 seconds ahead. But currently, though, up 16 positions. That's an amazing drive from him. But the Waddle in the lead is coming down ever so slightly. It's now down to 0.3 of a second. So Norbit now should have at least the draft down this long straightaway, and you can just see closes up now, and he's going to continue to close up into the braking zone, but isn't going to be close enough. So we'll see if these two drivers make a dive for the pit lane. You can see Fuller keeping a decently tight line, and he is going to dive into the pit lane.
Into the pits.
They both dive into the pit lane, so that's a little bit of an early stop from these drivers. We're used to kind of seeing them take the cars minimum, I think, 30 minutes, as Lucas also dives into the pits as well. Brandon Haley will stay out, though, and he will try his chances to go a little bit longer in this race.
Yeah, I was watching Fuller and Leitner as well. It looked like Fuller definitely dived into the pits, or I think I was watching one of them move around a little bit. It looked as if there was a bit of a game of pit entry chicken, as I like to call it, trying to see who would dive into the pits first. But yeah, it looks like Leitner at the last second decided to dive into the pits behind Fuller, and both of them are leaving the pits together as well. So yeah, I think these two guys have got the strategy pretty much spot on, and in front of them they've got a clear track. So yeah, it's game on for the win.
Yeah, definitely game on for who's going to get the win. Now, the gap has gone out to just about 7/10 of a second now, but nothing too large. But one thing I was just noticing, I did flash the car logos up on the screen there just for a minute on the side of the timing gantry. And one thing I noticed was that there was that all the McLarens were pitting at pretty much the same time. So that's pretty much what I was looking for, because I saw all three of them dive in, and I could have swore they were all three McLarens, and I was correct. So the McLarens are seeming to have to pit a little bit earlier than the rest of these cars. So I wonder if that is going to hinder them in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think the McLaren seem to have similar fuel uses per lap, judging by the how close they are, and basically, as you say, Tyler, they pitted at the same time. So yeah, it looks like these guys up at the front, or the top three are basically not, or they weren't trying to save fuel. So yeah, it's basically a sprint race all the way to the line.
Yeah, sprint race now to the line for these drivers. Just about 12 minutes left in this race. So you can see these drivers jump back up. We see quite a few drivers in the pit lane. And these two will take back 1 and 2 as Lucas is also coming through as well. So he will rejoin back in third. So just like a usual one there. So none of the top 3 have any of their positions affected. But we will see if Norbert is able to close that gap up to Fuller and get that move done. I think that if he can put in some good laps and if Fuller makes a few mistakes, he will have a chance. But I just don't see Fuller making too many mistakes. He's just keeping that car just so clean.
Yeah, I'm just watching. Yeah, I was just watching from my point of view. I was watching Fuller's onboard, and his steering inputs are absolutely just smooth. He's not doing anything. He's not being too aggressive with the wheel. He's been nice and smooth. He's not doing. He's not being erratic. So yeah, and yeah, it's it's pretty good considering he's under pressure from Norbert in second. So as as well through the field, P13 at the moment. Zayed El Mustafa. Yeah, currently in 12th position according to the lifetime now. But yeah, looks like it seems to be some of the field settled down now. There's still some battles going on, but there's not really that many there's not really that much battles going on as there was in the early stages of the race. But yeah, it's still kind of close, I guess. But the closest battle was back up at the front with Chris Fuller and Norbert Lietner. Yeah, just looking at the live timing as well. I think they've got got about just over 10 minutes remaining, I believe.
Yeah, so just about 10 minutes remaining, and the lap times that they're running just about 45, and Chris Fuller goes purple with a 45-1. So he is flying right now. 45-148, and he is able to get the fastest lap of the race. So it's 3/10 faster than Norbert Lietner on that last lap. And I'm going to do a little bit of math here super quick just to kind of give you an estimated number of laps left.
Still in the lead as Chris Fuller, but he's still under pressure from Norbert Lietner. And these guys have just basically dominated this race so far and pulled away from the rest of the field. And yeah, as I've done about 31 minutes in this race so far, and it looks like Chris Fuller has managed to stretch a bit of a gap behind to Norbert in second through the two Lesbos. So yeah, but under braking it seems to be Norbert seems to be much better under braking, and I think I've watched Norbert a few times. I used to race in a couple of R Factor One leagues back a few years ago, and yeah, he was probably one of the quickest people around. But yeah, he's doing a good job at the moment of keeping Chris Fuller in sight and under pressure, and it's just a question of if Norbert can get the run, or if he can try and get a run on Chris Fuller on with in the final couple of minutes. It's just trying to decide where the best place to pass is, or try and make a pass.
Yeah, he is stretched now. Chris Fuller out to a 1.2 second advantage. So he is absolutely gone now. That battle just died down. So just trying to find any battles that we can here on the racetrack. As we do see this quite a bit in the VRS Championship, we just kind of have everyone a little bit more spread out than you do in some other series. Usually, some of the other series you'll see some, close racing all the way in the end. This series a little bit different, where you're flipped and you pretty much have some really, really close racing at the beginning, and then everyone really, really spreads out. And I think that's just the nature of these GT3 cars. They're not really cars that they can follow each other in a pack, but they're cars that do spread out. Because they like to run on their own. And a lot of drivers are like that as well, where they just kind of like to be in their own free air and not really following another driver too close behind, because you can really push the limits in these cars, and they're very, very forgiving cars in that matter. That you can really, really push the limits if you do have some clean air to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some cars in iRacing that seem to prefer being in clear air and not stuck behind another car just because of the the dirty air effect. If you're stuck behind someone, and especially in the dirty air, all you get is basically sometimes is you can get some terrible understeer, or the car doesn't respond as much as well. But just looking throughout the field as well, looking at it looks like they've got a battle for P. well, my lifetime is playing up against, so I'm not sure if it's P6 or P7 they're battling for. But yeah, still some battles going on throughout the field. But as we get into the closing stages so far, it looks like the battle might be, or the battle up at the front possibly might be, the battle for the win anyway might be over, or it could be over within the next 5 minutes if Norbert can't do anything about Chris Fuller.
Yeah, definitely could be over very, very soon if he's not able to get close to him again, because he's just pulling away that gap right now. I mean, that gap's now up to a 1.3-second advantage. And at 10 minutes to go, so at just about 4 minutes ago, we were looking at 6 laps. So right now we're looking at just about 4 laps to go here in this race, from my calculations at least. But right now we're looking here at the battle for 5th. This is the closest battle right now on the racetrack, Ferrari v Ferrari, so they should be quite evenly matched on pace. It will just be driver v driver if they have working setups for each other. But we'll see Cirrus down the inside, and he will make that move stick. So he will make the move stick now through the chicane, but Kolak will get the run on him. He will try the outside, and I believe he is. No, he's not going to be able to make that move work. He's just going to be just a little bit too far out, but they are still side by side, and no, he's just going to just pull back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah managed to get that move done up into P5, and yeah, down to P6 is Paweł Koelik. But looking back up at or towards the front, looking at his battle for the final step on the podium between Lucas Navarrete and Bradley Haley in fourth place. And yeah, it wasn't too long ago. Bradley was kind of behind or dropped back a little bit, but yeah, Bradley's managed to put the foot down and close the gap down for the final step on the podium, or try and grab it. But as we look at the battle again for P5 between Serra and Kowalik, yeah, these two guys don't seem to want to be separated. But yeah, yeah, it looks like Powell's got a run down the straight, and he's tried to go on the outside as Serra defends the inside, heading down to turn one.
If we now look here from the suspension camera, and he isn't going to be able to make that move stick, but these drivers, we do need to keep an eye on them. They are not going to be calming down anytime soon from the looks of it. But Kowalik runs just a little bit wide, so it is going to lose him a little bit of time, but he does have the draft. These Ferraris, we see it in the past. And if you ever watch the Ferrari fixed races, you can tell these cars have quite a bit of a draft, actually, being that they are the same horsepower, especially. But those two are going to stay close to the end, so we do need to watch them out just a little bit. Lucas Narati is pulling just a little bit of a gap over Brandon Halley that is for the battle for third, as he runs a little bit wide there, so this is going to cost him just a little bit of time. As everyone is pretty much stayed spread out, but David Toth now looking for his 17th spot up in this race to move up into 12 spots. We'll see if he can get by. This should be a pretty easy move for him, considering the driver ahead of him does have quite a bit of damage in the form of Pierre Verny, so should be able to make that move with ease, considering he has kept that car remarkably clean for a VRS race.
Yeah, I have to say, some of the cars I've been looking at through the field, don't seem to. I'm quite surprised they don't seem to have damage, or as much damage as I expected, with it being a VRS race, and in particular around Monza as well, with how tight the track can be in some places. But yeah, looking back at the battle for P6, P5 at the moment, it looks like Sarah's going to be under attack yet again from Kolik. As we've got about 3 or 4 minutes remaining in the race, so I believe we've got possibly two laps remaining in this race.
And as you can see, Toth is going to make that move clean around the outside, and he will get that move done, up 17 spots now, so he is your biggest mover in this race. Zayad is now looking for a move here on Sebastian Chuk, and down into the first corner. He is not going to be able to get that move done, so he will have to wait just a little bit longer. But Lucas Naurat is now down into P4, and he's let Brandon Halley absolutely pull away. So I wonder if I can get a replay there of what happened, and I believe I do have one right here.
Yep. As we look at the replay heading down to turn one, it looks like Bradley Haley Ooh, oh, there's a bit of
Ooh.
contact.
I'd like to get a nice onboard there with Halley, so let's see if we can't get that move watched one more time here, going down into turn number 1. So we'll just watch here on board with him because I believe, what it looks like, Lucas I just moved over in the braking zone. I can't
Yeah,
put that blame on Bradley. I have to put that on Lucas there.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looks like it looked like Bradley was kind of. I wasn't sure if he was going to. It looked like he was going to dive up the inside, and yeah, it just looks like I have to agree with you, Tyler. I would have to say that Lucas was at fault for that because he did move under braking, and yeah, he was too late at defending his line. So yep, the Lucas for me is you've got to pin that on him.
Yeah, definitely. I believe he was the driver there at fault. Unfortunate to see, considering he was so far up the grid, and now he's losing even more time now with these Ferraris. So I wonder if he's got a little bit of rear end damage that's costing him some time because he's now down
Ooh.
into 5th place. Oh no, he is going to move up into. Yes, he will move back down into 6th. Is that GTL driver of Powell, Kolak, is now going to move down to 6th. So. Unfortunate there for him. But now this has gone from a 2-car battle for 3rd to now a 4-car battle for 4th.
Yeah, I was just watching Lucas again as well. It's yeah, Lucas under braking just slightly nudged one of the cars in front of him, and it caused it. Excuse me, it caused one of the Ferraris to run wide into turn 1. Uh, but Lucas managed to kind of gain that position or keep the position, you could say. Still in P4. I I believe we're on the last lap, Tyler, or the next lap will be the last lap.
I believe the next one will be the last lap. We will get confirmation, though. We will look back here at your race leader just in case this is the final lap for him. But he does have a 2.4-second advantage over Leitner, so I don't think, and yes, this will be the final lap here in this race. So Chris Fuller will come across the line to take the win in Monza. Norbert Leitner will come home in 3rd, and if Bradley Halley can make it through the final corner here, he will take home 3rd. Lucas Naratti, even with everything that did happen there, was able to come across the line. Should be able to come across the line here in 4th, firing Saros. That's a tongue twister. Say that 5 times fast. Christopher Zolich, Powell Kolak, as he actually is dropped out of the server, I believe. But Andrew Ruse, Sebastian Chuduk, Zayad Mufase, as he is out of fuel. So that's going to put Tobias Ruse up into 10th place. So that's nice there at the line, just very, very close. David Toth's going to come home in 12th with 17 spots up. That's absolutely amazing drive for him. And I'll pick up the rest of those on the race results.
Oh, sorry about that. Did you want me to go through the results, Tyler?
I'm just waiting on the results to get finalized and let them put me up on the screen. I believe we're waiting on just a couple of, we're just waiting on just a couple of drivers to finish up here, and then we can get our race results up. So we'll give you something to look at if I can find a driver. I'm just going to try to jump through now and try to find a driver that is still racing. Not able to find one. So... Not able to find one. So let's... Oh, well, it's because I'm on gyrocam. So Andrew Ruse in 8th place is still yet to finish. Kind of weird why he hasn't actually finished yet. Considering he was very far up the grid. And yes, there we go. Race results are live for us. So, I can... It's up to you, Ryan, whether you want to run through them or I can either.
Yeah, I can go through them since you done the grid at the start of the race. So results are up on your screen. So yeah, Chris Fuller holds on and takes a fantastic win in the VRS Sprint Series here at Monza. Second place was Norbert Leitner. Bradley Haley rounds out the top 3 by finishing in 3rd place. Lucas Davaretti takes we could say an eventful 4th place in the closing stages. Ferran Serkos finishes in 5th. Christopher Zoe Klink, hopefully I said that second name right, finishes in 6th. Paweł Kowalik finishes in 7th. Andrew Rose finishes in 8th. 9th place was Sebastian Schudek. rounded out the top 10 was Theobald Ruz, Zayed El Mustafa finishes in 11th, David Toff finishes in 12th, Pierre Verne finishes in 13th, Christopher Hyman finishes in 14th, Victor Aldana finishes in 15th, Tiago Perez finishes in 16th. 17th place was Richard Spixbal. Yeah, yeah, it's a bit hard to pronounce that name, but yeah. In 18th place was A. Henderson, and 19th, sorry. 20th was well, rounding out the top 20 was Hakon Agren, and I have to say, Tyler, that was absolutely fantastic racing. Yeah, apart from my unfortunate Windows update problems, what I seen in that race, it was absolutely fantastic stuff. And what did you think of it?
It was absolutely an amazing race. I'm just going to go ahead now and get you a little bit of a scenic view with your race winner here today, as we just go ahead and do our race rundown here for the VRS Sprint Championship. Yeah, absolutely amazing race. Super excited for the rest of the championship. We don't have many rounds to go. We are on round 10 here in Monza, so just 2 more rounds to go in the VRS Sprint Championship before we cap off the season. I believe, just looking at the schedule now, just to go ahead and get confirmation, but we are going to end off the championship in Autodromo Internazionale Enzo di Dino Ferrari. So we are going to end it off in the Imola Grand Prix circuit. Next round is in Donington Park. So definitely an interesting one for drivers in Donington. Not usually a track that you see many GT3 races at. You normally would see some more Mazda races there. I'm used to seeing quite a bit there. Haven't seen too many GT3 races there, so that I don't really know what to think about that round. That'll be an interesting one. We'll have to see how that one goes. But definitely excited for the remainder of the championship and also into next season. And as I do believe that is going to cap off our broadcast here on Apex Racing TV. We will be back next week, same time at, I believe it is, no, it's 2 p.m. Eastern time for the VRS Sprint Championship. Can't quite comment on the GMT time. I don't know GMT time too well yet, so but definitely tune in again next week for another awesome round of this championship. From myself, Tyler Maxon, Brian Walker, and all of us here at Apex Racing TV, we'll see you next time.